This is not your house. Crush someone's skull. Suffer from hypothermia. Transcend your mortal frame. Find all 10 endings. Get your house back. This one came out August 23rd. It is developed and published by Trash Eyes or Cody Tierson. It's $2. That's it. Long ass time, yes indeed.
Trash Eyes.
Nope. There we go.
I am helping GDQ happy.
Oh, thank you, Brian Burp. Yeah, check your Prime subs. Prime subs count. Okay. Press left mouse button or spacebar to progress dialogue. Use the skip button at the bottom of the screen while playing to skip any part of the game you played previously. The beep sound when progressing dialogue is controlled by beep volume in the preference menu. Text speed can be controlled in the preference menu. Activate auto forward progression in the preferences menu if you prefer not to click. Choose save or load on the left in the preferences menu to perform either action. What the fuck is going on? Press V to activate or deactivate the screen reader.
Self-voicing enabled. Screen reader volume is affected by the beep volume in preferences. Sound effects volume can be controlled in the preferences menu. Music volume can be controlled in the preferences menu. This is not your house. Start. Tutorial. Soundtrack. Twitter/X. This is not your house. Start. Roger always knew if he were attacked, it would happen on the walk from his car to his home. Auto forward. Roger always knew if he were attacked, it would happen on the walk from his car to his home.
Oh, what the fuck?
Roger always knew if he were attacked, it would happen on the walk from his car to his home, so he readied his house key before stepping out of the vehicle, keeping it ready, as he walked to the trunk of his... Roger always knew if he were attacked,
oh god
it
damn
would
it!
happen on the walk from his car to his
Every
home,
time I move it
so
away.
he readied his house key before stepping out of the vehicle, keeping it ready, as he walked to the trunk of his car. Return. Keeping it ready, as he walked to the trunk of his car. He hangs his groceries from his wrists, keeping his fingers free to open the front door without fumbling. As Roger makes his way to the porch, his eyes start darting between the house's corners.
Okay.
Roll. Preferences. Return. As Roger makes his way to the porch, his eyes start darting between the house's corners. He'd read about a young woman being ambushed in her driveway the week before.
What the fuck? Like, does this work?
Self-voicing enabled. He tries to put it out of his mind.
Shit! Alright, I'll turn that off. I'll just read it myself. By counting how many steps it takes him to reach the front door. But he can't stop listening for the sound of someone rushing towards him. There's a gentle breeze and the white noise of distant traffic. Roger assures himself he is right to remain vigilant. It only takes a split second for someone to get the drop on you. Steady with the key now. Smooth as fast. Roger's key slides in on the first try. It won't turn. Roger removes his key and inspects it. Did it say the bidding is controlled by the sound effects? Oh, beat volume, there it is. Roger removes his key and inspects it. It's engraved with a large H. Definitely the correct key. Roger tries the key again. Locked, jammed, broken maybe. Roger takes a step away from the door and scans the area for suspicious persons. He sees no one. He releases his grasp on the key and leaves it in the lock. He drops his grocery bag on the porch. He tries furiously to turn, pull, and push on the key and door handle every which way, without success. Roger hears something inside. A shadow passes by the window. It looks like someone's silhouette through the curtain. Roger pounds on the door. Open up this instant! The police are en route! The door unlocks from the inside. Can I help you? You can start by getting out of my house! This house does not belong to you. Check the deed, lady! A deed is only a piece of paper. One that proves this house is my property. Personal property is a social construct. Macaroni, thank you for the prime sub.
Hail Berserker!
And Goldrake with 79. Those who inhabit a space own it. Well, do we let her have the house or take it fucking back? I'm gonna take it back. I have a rotisserie chicken cooling off out here. I'll be eating it in my dining room before it's room temp. The homeowner attempts to shut the door on Roger. Roger swiftly jams his foot between the door and its frame. He presses his face into the gap his foot provides. I don't think you heard me. Roger shoulders the door wide open. The homeowner stumbles back into the kitchen. You forgot your chicken. Well, I can't. No, I'll get her out of the house before I get my chicken. I'm standing my ground. I'll get it when you're gone. Be sure not to leave too often, Roger. I have a habit of roosting in untended spaces. Headless Ichabod, thank you for the 21 months. Roger hears a car start up right outside. He looks out the window to see what's going on. The homeowner waves from the driver's seat of his car and disappears down the road. It can't be! Roger whirls around. The homeowner is no longer in the kitchen. He proceeds to clear the house, room by room, until he is sure. A Sicily with another gifted sub to Face McShooty! She's gone. Roger spent the next few days Ooh. Oh, I have another one. Okay. Roger spent the next few days gathering up every trace of the homeowner's presence and passed it on to the authorities. Doilies, table runners, oiled drape runners, candles. It seems like they'd lived there for years, leaving things in odd places only someone familiar with the space would. It took Roger an additional half day just to rearrange the furniture. Thankfully, she had moved in her own. Then, there was nothing left for Roger to do, except his grocery shopping. He decided to have his groceries delivered by a boy from the neighborhood for a while. He didn't want to leave the house alone. He started to feel silly about it after a few weeks passed. Police couldn't locate his missing car. He bought a junker so he could handle his errands around town. Roger didn't notice the walk from his car to his house anymore. The only thing that worried him is whether or not he could turn his key when he got home. A shadow passes by the window. You no longer fear an ambush outside your home, but you dread being locked out. End credits. Oh shit. Okay. This game has 10 endings. That's supposed to happen. It's a $2 game with 10 endings, so it's like little short vignettes. Okay. But you can skip all the dialogue you saw previously, so let her have the house. Keep the house. I'll take my car and head down to the station. Which car is that? The one I pulled up in. I didn't notice. The only one sitting in the driveway. But sir, that's my car. What in the hell? Roger turns just in time to see the car he calls his own reversing into the street. He sees the homeowner wave to him from the driver's seat and disappear down the road. Here, let me help you with that. Roger tries to run after his car, but the homeowner grabs hold of his shirt. She slips it off with one deft sweep. Roger spins around, trying to grab hold of his button-down. He feels goosebumps forming on his arms, and his nipples harden. Give me my shirt back! No need for these either. The homeowner grabs the hem of Roger's pants and yanks backward, knocking Roger flat on his back. The homeowner quickly slides off his pants and the remaining articles on his person. Roger lies dazed with his head pounding from the collision with the porch. Roger wraps his arms around his head and groans. The homeowner glides into the house, slamming the door behind her. Roger pulls himself to his feet. He cups his genitals in his hand and tries to keep warm. He shakes from the cold. All right. Let's see. Sun Guardian, make your choice. I'm just gonna pick random people from chat that I see chatting. What do we do, Sun Guardian? Break it down. All right, break down the door. Roger's a strong man, but not strong enough to break a door down with his bare feet. So instead, he takes a swing at the door's window. He feels something warm and slippery pour down his arm as he fumbles with the deadbolt. He manages to get a grip on the lock and slide it open. Roger opens the door and shuffles inside. He hears heavy footsteps from the floor above. The steps indicate the homeowner is headed for the stairs. Shit! Had she found his shotgun? Roger only had a moment to act. Come Jesus, what do we do? Arm yourself! Roger darts to the knife block in the kitchen, a mere 15 feet away. He yanks out the butcher's knife and wheels around, heading for the stairs. A yellow flash and flecks of cinder. Roger lies dead, practically eviscerated by his own shotgun. The homeowner calls the police to report the incident. What is left of the body is labeled a John Doe. It is cremated by the town according to protocol. The local paper released a story about the incident, labeling Roger an unidentified drifter and the homeowner as a neighborhood hero. Some locals caught the story and recognized Roger from the area. A correction was printed, but it portrayed Roger as an unstable addict to account for his state of undress and violent behavior. Local officers used Roger as a cautionary tale at school assemblies to display the dangers associated with drug abuse. The homeowner was heralded throughout the state as an example of a homeowner who defended themselves when police were nowhere in sight. She was paid handsomely to act as the keynote speaker for a variety of clubs and events over the next few years. End credits. All right. Guts. What do we do this time, Guts? Do we take the house or leave it, let her have it? Humble DF with 10 more gifted subs, getting us closer to the fucking goal. Oh, we're gonna make it, bitches. We're gonna make it. We only have 189 left to go. We're very close. Take it. Take the house back. Okay. So the rotisserie chicken, yes, we got that. Now, I think I have to, this is the choice we didn't make last time. We're gonna get the chicken. By the way, Humboldt, thank you for gifting out subs to Taimu, Lone Wanderer, or Wanderer, Kwangoku, Negative Knight, Band-Aid RP, Narthuk, Rit the Roo, Trash Kitty, Hell T, and the Whittler.
Hail Berserkers!
All right, let's get the chicken. Roger turns around to collect his groceries. He sees someone, I've seen this printed, but I can't remember how to say it. Analogous, right? He sees someone analogous to the homeowner devouring his rotisserie chicken. Analogous, right? Analogy, analogous. God, I hate English. The homeowner behind Roger grabs a paring knife. That's not how you spell paring knife, is it? It's P-A-R-E. Right? I think. The homeowner clamps a hand over Roger's mouth and shoves the blade into his back. Yeah, P-A-R-I-N-G, yeah. Do I need to, like, sit further back to see what I'm looking at? Like, that's shoulder, arm. Is there a knife? Maybe that's the knife going in? Oh, God, he's getting stabbed multiple times. Or something happening. Roger tries to bite the homeowner and break free. Her hand remains firmly clamped over his mouth. Yo, Leia with the 5 gifted subs to Tiny Bastard, Ack Rain Down, Big Bull, Eric Hammy, and Charlemagne.
Hail Berserkers!
Her hand remains firmly clamped over his mouth. He can taste the tang of her blood with an unexpected acidity. The homeowner gently lowers Roger to the floor. Roger tries to get up but grows weaker as blood pumps through his heart and out his back. The homeowner keeps him pinned to the floor and presses down to strain his breathing. Roger grows tired and slips away into a calm and reassuring dark. The homeowner's analog grabs the grocery bags and carries them inside. It sets the bags on the floor and steals a glance at Roger. We have plenty to eat tonight. There may even be enough to store in the freezer. We'll need to dress and quarter it first to see what there is. Now close the door. I won't tolerate a draft. The homeowner's analog grabs the door and throws it shut. The goings-on of the house safeguarded from the eyes of prying
You know what?
neighbors.
Fuck it. Fuck them. Fuck ad people. Fuck people who don't sub. You fucking non-sub trash.
Okay. Nice. True. The goings-on of the house safeguarded from the eyes of prying neighbors by a door and some drapes. End credits. You were killed by your own gun and villainized by the media. Last meal, you didn't get your chicken, but were sustenance for others. Okay. Now, if I take my house back, I stand my ground. Oh, that's it. That's 2 choices and you're done. Okay. So I've done the take your house back, both of those. Let her have the house. Okay. Ngenga. We already tried breaking down the door. So you have to pick from wait her out, seek shelter, or find help. Oh, actually, no, you can do break down the door. We have another choice in break down the door. Because we can hide. Time to find help. Okay, let's find some help. Driven by the belief he cannot resolve the house theft on his own, Roger runs off to find help. Running down the road, he spots a police cruiser on patrol. Roger begins wildly flailing his arms. Oh, God. Oh, God. Roger begins wildly flailing his arms and calling out for the vehicle to stop. The cruiser comes to a halt and an officer steps out from the passenger side. Roger sprints toward him, shouting, attempting to explain his situation. The officer enters a defensive stance and draws his weapon on Roger. Roger freezes in place, thrusting his hands into the air. Okay, maybe this won't be so bad. Marcel, thank you for the 27 months. Don't move! Hands! Let me see those hands! They're up. I'm cooperating. Suspect is uncooperative. Oh, fuck. Never mind. I'm cooperating! What am I a suspect of? Turn around! I said turn around right now! Roger complies. Walk backward toward me! Roger walks backward toward the officer. Not so fast! Roger stops in a lethal game of red light, green light. Did I say stop? Roger does not speak, and he does not move. He does not want to alarm the officer. Come on, hurry up! Roger very slowly walks backward toward the officer. I said slowly, not slow motion. Pick up the pace! Roger does not hasten his pace, preferring to aggravate the officer rather than do something that could be seen as threatening. That's it! The sound of the officer's thudding footsteps draws near to Roger. Roger hears cuffs being readied behind him. He feels the cold metal press against his wrists. The officer thrusts Roger against the hood of his car. I have a feeling this is bringing back IRL memories from Zeke. I've been arrested a handful of times. I've probably been cuffed by a police officer, say a half dozen times throughout my life. Not in years though. It's been like, fuck, probably over 15 years since I've been arrested. It's been a while. But most of it's for like driving while suspended, no insurance when I was in my 20s. After a few times, like they see your record when they look you up, they're like, this is your 4th driving with suspended and no insurance. We gotta arrest you and take you in. Like, okay. But a couple of them for that, one for shoplifting when I was 16. That was fucking stupid. What else? I mean, if full disclosure, I'm not proud of it. It's been, God, 20 years now, but I do have a DUI. I'm not proud of it at all. It was stupid. And I've never done it again, which is nice, which is good. What else? Oh, drunk and disorderly. I was being, me and my ex from 15, how many years ago now? 16 years ago. I think it was the last time I got arrested. Me and my ex were, yelling at each other. We were not a good fit. And we would both get drunk and start yelling at each other. And, the neighbors called the cops. And of course, I mean, nothing like physical happened. We were definitely being very loud. But, the neighbors called the cops and the cops arrested me. And they took me in. Because I was the dude in the situation. But I didn't get charged with anything. But they definitely cuffed me. You also illegally fenced and someone called the fence police. Okay. The officer thrust Roger against the hood of his car. Roger can feel the cuffs tightening further, cutting off circulation. Cops show up for that stuff. One always gets cuffed. Yeah. And I don't blame him. I really don't. Like, most like domestic shit, like the guy is almost always the most dangerous one. So I didn't blame him for cuffing me rather than her. Although she was yelling louder, if I may say so. Her voice, like I can yell pretty loud, but her voice carries. Please, officer, I'm cooperating. The officer yanks Roger off of the hood, steering him with the chain of his cuffs. The metal digs into Roger's wrists as he fails to anticipate the officer's movements. The officer pushes Roger into the back seat and slams the door. The officer quickly climbs in the front seat and jumps on the radio with dispatch regarding Roger's arrest. Roger's naked body wriggles for several minutes against the leather in the back seat. Oh, I forgot I'm totally naked in this situation. We skipped over that because that happened last time, but I was waving my arms completely naked at an officer. Yeah. Roger's naked body wriggles for several minutes against the leather in the back seat while he attempts to sit up. The officer brings his fist down on the car's dash. Keep it down back there! A few tears stream down Roger's face in the dark. The tears make him feel ashamed, but he cannot suppress how angry and helpless he feels. Please, someone has broken into my house. Look, we're passing by it right now. Just pull over. The old someone stole my house routine. Save it for the judge, junkie. I'm not a junkie. I'm a senior citizen and I need help. Oh, I'm a senior citizen, am I? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. You don't see many elderly junkies, huh? What are you talking about? The officers sit in total silence as they cruise toward the station. Roger sits back and tries not to exacerbate the situation further. So you're telling us that you went out shopping and returned home to find your locks were changed? That's right. Then I started pounding on the door and some strange woman answered. Strange? How? What do you mean? She stole my house. Right. But what is it that made her strange to you? How calm she was about it all. Like I was a perfect stranger, like she belonged there. The officers glance at one another. So you found your locks changed and a strangely calm and comfortable woman at the door. Yes, but she was in my car as well. So she left your house? No. She was in the house and I turned around and saw her driving away in my car at the same time. A pair of twins, maybe? They were her. In the car and the house all at once. So what happened to your clothes? She took them right there on the porch. When I turned to see the car taking off, she slipped my shirt off. Without you even asking? The officers snicker while sharing a look. It's not funny, I was assaulted. Sir, if a woman came up to me with a smile and asked for my clothes, I wouldn't report her. She knocked me down and ripped off my pants. All right, sir, how much have you had to drink this evening? Not a drop. So you're telling me you tried to get into someone else's house in a confused state, thought you saw two of the same person, and wandered the streets naked, but you haven't had anything to drink. That's not what I said. That isn't how it happened. You've already given your statement. All I need to know is how much you were drinking. Oh, okay. Hey, hot spicy poutine. Do we confess our drunkenness or insist I'm sober? Insist I'm sober. I was not drinking. It's true what I said, every word of it. Put a note that the subject is not cooperating and we haven't been able to positively identify him. My name is Roger Cormack. I've already told you that. Sir, you'll be transferred to a new facility in the morning. You can explain the situation to them. What kind of facility? The kind that has resources necessary to help someone like you. Oh, dear God. Roger spent the remainder of his life. Wow. The remainder of his life being shuttled between state mental institutions. None were able to properly identify what ailed him. Without a diagnosis and treatment plan in place, they were unable to release him. He raved about the woman who stole his house and his car. The staff learned to tune out his ravings as they did with all other patients, content to consider his ramblings those of a madman. Unspecific nonsense that you can hear pressing your ear to any patient's cell door. End credits. Huh. Did I get a forced wellness? A police twisted your testimony and sent you deeper into the system, never to return. Okay. All right, we're gonna take the house back and we're gonna do something else this time. Okay. Stand your ground. Oh, no, not stand your ground. Hold on. Get the chicken. Oh. Wait a minute, what about the gun thing? I thought it was... Oh, it was let her have the house and then break in. Okay. Okay. That's what it was. Okay, let her have the house. Okay, so we end up naked. So, let's break down the door. Okay. Now, hide and ambush. We haven't done this one yet. Here we go. Yo, Vissy with 4 years. Loving every minute of it. Hell yeah. Thank you, Vissy. And may I say...
Looks like Chuck's...
No, not that one, not that one. This one. There you go. All right, hide and ambush. Let's see what happens. Roger wasn't sure he could make it to the kitchen and back before the homeowner reached him. He presses himself against the corner wall by the bottom of the staircase, hoping he will remain out of sight. The homeowner's heavy footfall makes it easy to follow her movements. Roger sees the barrel of his shotgun slide through the entryway. He grabs hold of it and rushes around the corner. The homeowner falls back on the stairs. Roger yanks the gun away from her with his good hand. This is some weird, actually kind of atmospheric sounds and music. Yo, Jay Lang with 81. Thank you, Jay Lang. The homeowner stares at Roger and tries to sit up. Roger brings the butt of the shotgun down on her face. He presses down, grinding and twisting it into her. Her smile peeks out at him from around the gun's stock. She reaches for the trigger. Roger pulls the gun away and brings it down on her face. He does it again, and again, and again. Dude. Relentlessly fragmenting and distorting her features into a puddle. He was satisfied when he could no longer see her eyes. The police arrived shortly after. A neighbor called 20 minutes earlier due to the sound of breaking glass, followed by repeated muffled blows. As Roger and his defense team could not adequately explain the circumstances leading to him viciously beating an unarmed woman to death in his home, a woman police were never able to identify due to excessive facial and dental trauma, missing fingerprints, and a lack of documentation. The jury found Roger Cormack guilty of first-degree homicide. The prosecution was able to convince them Roger had kidnapped the woman and killed her when she attempted to escape his home. Roger now inhabits a cell on death row, awaiting lethal injection. End credits. No, he said there's a deed for the house, but he can't produce it, I guess. Yeah, it's Lila. Oh, architecture. Yeah. Who is Lila? Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Yeah. You know what? I'm actually kind of curious. No. Okay. No. Okay. So, we've done all the, well, no, we haven't done all the, okay. We've done all the take your house back things, so let her have the house. Now, what do we do? Oh, the achievement, right? The achievement was, you obtain new living quarters on death row for defending yourself against a home invasion. Let's wait her out. Roger was not one to bully others or be bullied himself. He stood resolutely on his porch, like any respectable citizen would. He spent the first few hours hollering and pounding on his own front door. As it grew late and cold, Roger began to lose feeling in his extremities. His pounding became limp and inconsistent, and his hollers turned to hoarse whispers. He became warm and a bit drowsy. Roger reasoned it was best to get some rest and resume his valiant opposition in the morning. Morning did not come for Roger. He sat on the porch curled up and nestled his head against the front door. It was the comfiest and sleepiest Roger had ever been. The homeowner discovered Roger at dawn and called the police. Cause of death was determined to be hypothermia. He was tagged as a John Doe and placed in a morgue to await cremation. Roger's final moments were warm, and he was not afraid. End credits. The clapping? You froze to death because you believed being right meant something. That's funny. That's one of those old like adages. Like when you're arguing with your significant other, like would you rather be right or happy? Choose happy. Choose happy every time. Okay. Let her have the house. And now, seek shelter. Let's try that. Oh, into the shed marked shed. With no immediate means of retaking his house, Roger thinks it's best to find somewhere to rest. He takes off into the woods in search of shelter from the elements. Or not, or just go to the woods, I guess. Roger finds a grove just before dark. At it... This is so cool. I love it. At its center stands an immense hollow tree. Roger crawls inside and huddles against its bark for warmth. It protects him from the biting wind outside. As he settles into a comfortable position, his breathing slows and he drifts off to sleep. He wakes the next morning to terrible hunger pangs. He crawls out of the tree and onto the dewy forest floor. He scrounges around looking for food. He happens upon a large growth of mushrooms. Well, obviously I'm going to eat them the first time. Roger consumes the mushrooms with a desperate ferocity. They have a bitter taste, but Roger's hunger allows him to chew through it. It's the same song! Or same lyrics. Just at a different pace. As his belly fills with the mushrooms, he starts to feel ill. His head begins to spin. His manner of thought shifts and becomes fluid. Roger sees the world around him as a part of him. Or he as a part of it. A very small part. A moat. The homeowner was right. In part. Personal property is a construct. But habitation is not means of ownership. He did not own the immense tree anymore after sleeping in it. Than he did before knowing of it. The moat merely landed on the tree. In the morning it came upon some mushrooms and began thinking of the world before itself. It surrendered itself to the soil, to the cool damp, to the network, forsaking hunger, forsaking words. Words like Roger and returning home. End credits. Ego death. You died by becoming part of the fungal network. Yep. I used to speak with lips, now I speak with hips. Dude, this is fucking crazy. All right. Okay. Let her have the house. And now, what other choices have we not done? Wait her out was the last choice. Seek shelter. Oh, do not eat the mushroom. Let's do that. Okay. Don't eat the mushrooms. Roger wasn't sure if the mushrooms were poisonous or not. He didn't want to risk dying for a single breakfast. He let them be. But the fact remained he was hungry. He sets out for the edge of the forest at a brisk pace. He skulks through the tree line parallel to the road to hide his nakedness. As the forest thins, he ducks into alleys and hides behind the garbage cans. He smells something on the breeze. What does this sign say? It says something lunch? Allied lunch? Oh, does it say naked lunch? Like the movie or the book? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, wasn't Naked Lunch both a movie and a book? I think it was, right? Yeah. It makes him salivate and clench his fists with an aggravated longing. Bright red. Something catches Roger's eye. A fire station. They might be able to help. All right, Stryer. Stryer, do we go to the fire station or do we follow the scent of food? Fire station, okay. Reason compels Roger to stop at the fire station and seek assistance. He knocks on the front door. The man who answers seems unfazed by Roger's lack of dress. Sir, is it possible the station has some clothing you can lend me? Or some food to spare?
I got plenty of both. Come on in.
Roger's given a baggy t-shirt with the monogram of a defunct company on it, accompanied by some ill-fitting pants. He relaxes, knowing he will not be charged with indecent exposure.
Terry's in charge of lunch for the station today. He's got a pot of chili going. Might not be appetizing first thing in the morning, but it's what we got.
I would appreciate some. Thank you. The fireman nods and hurries back with a bowl of chili and a cold beer. Roger isn't normally one for beer, but it is dark and filling.
So, if you don't mind my asking, what's got you out on the street with your pecker hanging out?
I went out for some groceries yesterday. While I was out, some woman broke into my house and changed the locks. I couldn't get back in and had to spend the night in the woods.
But why was your pecker out? You like shopping naked?
No, the woman had an accomplice who broke into my car while I was trying to get into the house. I tried to stop her from taking the car, but the woman in the house jumped me from behind when I did. I took a bad blow to the head, she stripped me on the porch, and her pal took off with my car. The fireman scratches his beard.
Why didn't you go to the police?
It was freezing out and getting dark fast. I didn't know how to find the station and she took my phone, so I just holed up for the night.
Glad you made it. Awfully cold last night. Kinda makes it our slow season.
I'm just glad I stumbled onto this place. The brick facade helps it stand out.
You got any kind of documentation to prove you own that house?
Of course. I have the deed in a safety deposit box, but I need my ID to get it. And that bitch took my pants, with my wallet still in them.
You think she's still in the house, or took off in the car with a pal?
She had no intention of leaving, I can tell you that.
Well, that settles it then. I'll get the blues on the horn and get this sorted out for you.
The fireman lumbers over to a phone on the far wall. A wave of relief washes over Roger, knowing a civil servant is assisting him. Still, the fireman's reaction to Roger's story troubles him. He doesn't want the fireman thinking of him as a crazy old man. Or still, Roger worries he is a crazy old man and just doesn't know it yet. A part of him hopes the woman is still in his house to prove to himself that what he thinks happened really happened. When police arrive at Roger's residence, they find the homeowner barricaded inside the upstairs bedroom, raving that the house is hers. She's been there all her life. It's her childhood home. She demands the police get a warrant to search the premises, but she is unable to provide personal ID or proof of residence. Bearing no legal claim to the property, she cannot refuse them entry. They are unable to locate Roger's wallet, believing the homeowner has destroyed it. Roger's social security card and birth certificate are recovered from the premises, which he uses to acquire the deed from his safety deposit box. With the proper paperwork secured and presented to the authorities, Roger is permitted to entry to his home. The homeowner is taken into police custody. Roger spent the next several years checking in on the homeowner as she was transferred between a variety of state mental institutions. He eventually lost track of her in the system. He nearly forgot about her altogether until his car was recovered. It was unearthed at a site in Nevada where BlackRock was breaking ground on the construction of a new housing complex. Roger put the car out of his mind. He didn't allow himself to worry about the homeowner. He kept his shotgun at his bedside and slept easy. End credits. That's the good ending. All right. You got your home back with the help of a fireman who got the police on your side. 2 more endings left, and I want to find them. Okay, time to go to the scent of the food. Roger's hunger takes hold of him. It demands satisfaction. So he follows the scent in the air. He finds his way to the nearby Ultra store. The welcomer at the door barely notices him, distracted by a handheld gaming device. Roger wanders the vacant halls of the store until he finds men's clothing. He grabs a simple outfit, a pair of socks, and some sneakers, then heads straight for the ready-made meals by the self-checkout. Piping hot pizzas for breakfast. Roger grabs one of the boxes and takes a seat on the floor in front of the display. He uses the box as a plate and chows down on the warm treat. A bit sleepy, but satisfied, Roger takes a moment to think. With some warm clothes and a full stomach, the answer strikes him almost immediately. Roger shuffles out of the store, leaving discarded pizza boxes and tags in his wake. He makes his way to the ATM outside the store's entrance. Insert arm into automaton orifice. Roger reads the display and looks down. He sees the ATM's orifice. He slides his arm inside. It is cold, pulsating. Roger looks up at the display. His fingers grope around inside the orifice for the keypad. Enter PIN. Roger feels the raised shape of the numbers on the keys. He pokes his PIN into the pad. The ATM produces his funds. Roger pays for the clothes and pizza while checking out some additional supplies. Roger had never committed a criminal act. He was distressed to discover how easy it was. At his own house, in broad daylight. No one paid any attention as he hooked a hose up to the gas tank outside of the house. No one batted an eye when he broke the kitchen window or ran the gas tank's hose through it. Not even when he threw the lit Zippo inside. The neighborhood only took notice when they heard the result. The fire department was first to arrive on the scene. Roger was impressed by their response time. Thankfully, their investigative abilities left much to be desired. They declared the fire a natural accident caused by a gas leak. Roger was able to claim the full amount of his insurance policy and use the money to buy a home closer to his grandchildren. End credits. You used insurance fraud to buy a new home closer to your family. Also a good ending, yeah, okay. Now, find help. Okay. Now this choice we haven't done yet. I will confess to my drunkenness. Roger hangs his head in his hands. You're right, officer. I've had a few too many tonight. I don't know what I'm saying. It's all right, old timer. Just be glad it's not dementia. I'm very grateful. Well, you can spend the night in the drunk tank, and we'll release you in the morning. Thank you, officers. Roger spent the last few hours of the evening resting on his cell bench. It was rigid and uncomfortable, but Roger had learned to deal with discomfort in the service. True to his word, the officer released Roger first thing in the morning. Roger received a pair of sweatpants from the Lost and Found to replace his jumpsuit. He had no phone or wallet, and no idea what direction his house was in. He'd never been downtown and didn't know how to find his way out. He focused on finding shelter and food. He spent each day meeting his fundamental needs. Most passerbys refused to look at him. The rest were too frightened by his appearance to speak with him. Everyone kept a safe distance from him. He faded into the crowds and entirely out of memory. End credits. And there we go. Vagrant. The police released you for giving the false testimony they wanted. And there it is. I like that, man. I liked how, like, random and off the wall it was, but it also made a very sad, made for a very sad and strange story. I dug it. Dr. Claw, MD with the 5 given subs to Plutonium 239, Double Cheeseburger, Kerbero, Valkyria, and Dirges.
Hail, Berserkers!
Thank you very much, Dr. Claw. Made with, I don't know what this is, Renpy? Okay, free software. All right, cool. That was neat. I dig that. I dug that. For $2, man, that was great.